It is 5:16, and before we do anything else, I want to welcome Interim Superintendent Francis Frank Lynch to his first board meeting. And with that, roll call. Ms. Barnes.
President Kaminsky,
Here.
Vice President Kelly, absent. Clerk Wood, absent. Trustee Cooper,
Present.
Trustee Christensen,
Present.
Trustee Napier,
Here.
Trustee Sweeney, absent. Interim Superintendent Francis Lynch,
Present.
and I'm Deanna Barnes.
Thank you, Ms. Barnes. Now we have the moment of the flag salute and the moment of silent reflection. And to lead us tonight, Vice Principal at Tehachapi High School, Anna Hoffman.
Hello. Welcome, board members and Superintendent Lynch. After we do the flag salute, please stay standing for the moment of silent reflection. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Ms. Hoffman. Approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So motion. Second.
It was motioned by Trustee Cooper and seconded by Trustee Christensen to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Recognition of Capturing Kids' Hearts student greeters. Superintendent Lynch.
Hello, thank you to all of our Capturing Kids' Hearts greeters. This month, our CKH greeters are from Cummings Valley Elementary School. They are Sammy Markison, Riley Bohorquez, and Sawyer Bohorquez. Come on up.
At our organizational meeting on December 17th, we had to table the appointment of secretary to the board because at the time, that moment, we did not have a superintendent. So I am proud to nominate Francis Lynch as our secretary to the board. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
It was motioned by Trustee Kaminsky and seconded by Trustee Napier to appoint Francis Lynch, our superintendent, as secretary to the board. Roll call vote.
President Kaminsky,
Aye.
Vice President Kelly, absent. Clerk Wood, absent. Trustee Cooper,
Aye.
Trustee Christensen,
Aye.
Trustee Napier,
Aye.
and Trustee Sweeney, absent. Thank you.
Motion carries 4-0. Congratulations, Mr. Lynch. You're even more official now. Number 5, public employment, job title superintendent. As some of you know, we were in closed session last Thursday, and we were discussing for the search firm, the salary range. We were willing for them to communicate to all applicants. And is there any, before I ask for a motion, is there any questions or further discussion from the board? All right, the recommendation is the board approve the salary range for the position of superintendent, and that salary range is $200,000 to $250,000 annually, and it will be up to a committee of board members when the final candidate is selected. So sometime in March is when we will know the exact salary that the next superintendent will be receiving. So, do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
It was motioned by trustee Napier, seconded by trustee Cooper, to approve the salary range for the position of superintendent as presented. All in favor say aye. I'm sorry, it's a roll call vote.
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly absent. Clerk Wood absent. Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Christensen.
Aye.
Trustee Napier.
Aye.
Trustee Sweeney absent.
Motion carries 4-0. General function, number 1, superintendent update. Superintendent Lynch.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for being here tonight. Good evening, Board of Trustees. So tonight's update for the Board of Trustees for January 14th, 2025. This being my first, I kind of wanted to base it on previous superintendent's presentation. So I do want to take a moment to again thank our CKH greeters for this evening. Tonight's greeters were representing Cummings Valley Elementary School. So thank you again for your assistance for tonight's board meeting. Alrighty, and so I will be sharing the good. The first thing I want to do is recognize our board. I don't know that everybody knows this, but January is officially board recognition month for school boards. So I do want to recognize our school board and thank you for your service to our school district. And I did ask, I know that we are careful about what things we recognize so that we don't have to spend all night recognizing, but I didn't want to take a moment. My wife made sure to remind me. Alrighty, so first thing, just kind of wanted to say, wow, what a welcome. So pictured here are all of the departments here in this building, and I do want to thank everybody. Whether you're at this building or elsewhere, we did a quick tour. I've been out to several sites, but just the fact that everybody has kind of really been extremely welcoming and making it feel like home to me, I appreciate that very much. So thank you for doing that. And, I'm glad to be here to begin with, but that just makes it that much better. So I appreciate it. Next thing is we had a whistle stop tour on my very first day in the district. I had a few meetings to start the day and then out and about for a good tour of the district. And our board president, Mr. Kaminsky, was kind enough to drive me around from site to site and did a great job because I actually managed to get back to all of them and take all these photos. So went to all the sites, including the maintenance yard, the bus yard, all the school sites, made a special stop at the cafeteria management office. So it was a pleasure to get to meet everybody and kind of allow everybody to put a face to the name, so to speak. So thank you for that. And then my next day, I believe it was, I went and watched a basketball game over at Tehachapi High School. And this is a stock photo from our website, but that night they were playing East High School. So, and the good news is that our girls won both levels, JV and varsity. So it was a good night for basketball. Next item is our instructional rounds. So far, I've done instructional rounds over at Cummings Valley Elementary School on Thursday the 9th. Visited several classrooms and the social workers intervention room. I saw staff and students engaged in some great work, debriefed with our visit with the team. Look forward to the upcoming instructional rounds at Golden Hills and Tehachapi this week. I know this was a topic for future discussion brought up at one of our board meetings, and I'd like to embrace the opportunity to view our process with an open mind before getting back to you with a report on how things are going. Just to kind of touch base a little bit, I did see some really great things. One of the classrooms we went into had a wall of shout-outs where students could recognize their peers on a wall of shout-outs so they could write nice things about their classmates. And so I thought that was a great thing to be doing. And got a pretty good look at how things are going in our classroom, so it was a good day. Next, we have a sports update. So we have quite a few pictures there on the screen. And so just kind of give you the rundown. JV girls basketball started the year at 11-1. They won the Liberty tournament, beating BCHS, Taft High School, and Bakersfield High, and Liberty High. Traveled to Monash and won in a thriller, coming back from 13 points down to win by 4, sealing the win with free throws in the final seconds. During the break, they won the Bakersfield Christian tournament, beating Taft High School, Garces Memorial, and BCHS. Olivia Reed was named as to the all-tournament team and won outstanding player. Varsity girls basketball was ranked number 6 in the Central section, behind only D1 teams. They were poised to go undefeated until Riley Walden, the best player in Kern County and captain, went out on medical leave. The Warriors proceeded to lose 2 of 3 games at the Christmas tourney at Arvin, and they are learning a new identity with the loss of their star player, senior captain. The Warriors are still hoping to win the league and see what happens for CIF playoffs. They also have the number 1 player for the class of 2026, Corey Rodden. They are excited for what comes next and hope to shock everyone with how well they are doing and how they adapted during this challenging time. Boys freshman basketball got second place in the Frontier tournament over Christmas break, and they're looking forward to beginning league play this week. JV boys basketball currently is 7-8 overall and will begin league play this week. They took 4th place in the South tournament over Christmas break and looking forward to a competitive league season. Boys varsity basketball currently has a record of 9-4. This has been the best start to the boys varsity season since 2013. They won the consolation bracket at the 58 shootout tournament, and they are looking forward to starting league play as well. Over to soccer. JV girls soccer is off to a great start. They ended their preseason with 7 wins and 1 loss, finished 5th at the South tournament out of 16 teams over Christmas break. Girls varsity soccer team has had a solid start to the season with a current record of 6 wins, 5 losses, 2 ties. Leading the charge offensively is Autumn Heeb, who has tallied an impressive 17 goals, while Delilah Cardenas leads the team in assists with 4. The team performed exceptionally well at both the Miramonte and Frontier tournaments, showcasing their growth and teamwork. As we head into league play this week, the team is excited and ready to build on this strong foundation. In boys soccer, the varsity team is currently 2-7-4. JV is currently 3-4-0, and Frostoff is currently 1-4-0. This is an improvement from last year and many previous years, and the second year we've been able to field a freshman team, a total of 50 athletes in our program. Varsity is tied 1-1 against both Independence and Highland High School, 2 highly ranked teams in the Central section. Varsity had wins against Taft and Cal City, and the Warriors have moved up 22 spots in the high school soccer rankings. Currently ranked number 18 in the Central section, and Alfonso Cardenas is the current top goal scorer with 6 goals on the season, and Leo Gonzalez is a standout defender. Adrian Anaya leads the team with 4 assists, and they're inspired and eager to perform during league. For boys wrestling, they have a lot of promising freshmen on the team this season. It's unfortunate that they don't have more wrestlers to fill a JV and varsity roster. At this time, they are focusing on the varsity lineup that consists of 5 underclassmen and 5 seniors. They took 8 kids to the Bash in Visalia during the Christmas break, placed 10th overall as a team out of 32 teams. 6 out of 8 of the kids medaled, including Owen Schneider, freshman, in 8th place at 106. Schmeideke and Anakin, senior, 6th place, 138. William Larson, sophomore, 7th place at 150. James Jacobson, senior, 4th place at 157. William Small was a senior, 7th place at 165. Christian McKibben, senior, 4th place at 215. Interesting thing about the tournament was the amount of teams that were present from our division. We beat all of the teams in our league in team points and are extremely excited for the rest of the season. A Valley title does not seem out of reach. For girls wrestling, the girls wrestling program took a close second for team at the Lady Bash in Farmersville. And Princess Amesqua was champion in her weight class and named MVP. Reese Hart was also the champion for her weight class. They all competed at the Girls California Invitational in Morro Bay this weekend, where Jazalyn Ramirez took fourth. They'll continue to work hard this season at tournaments and many duels they have planned for the season. And for cheer, competition cheer have now completed 2 competitions this season and taken first place in both of them. They're looking forward to competing at the CIF Central Section competition on January 18th and CIF State Championship on February 1st. And that's the sports update. Alrighty, next we have the enrollment report. These are the enrollment numbers for week 18 of the school year. Overall, as you can see from the list there, we're 57 students fewer than last year for this week of school. However, we are still at about 95 students more than we had at the end of the last school year. And the next page is our attendance report. Attendance, district-wide attendance for week 18 of the school year is up to 92.3%, up from 87.9% last year. And the general gist of these 2 slides really is, even though enrollment is declining slightly, we've made improvements in overall attendance. So last year for week 18, ADA was at 3,720 students. And for this year, it was at 3,853 students. So even though the enrollment's lower, with the attendance bump of almost 5%, we actually have a higher ADA, which is how we get funded, so that's good news. So 130 more students in attendance this year than last year, even though our attendance is, our enrollment's lower. So good job to those who are encouraging those to, our students to attend school more regularly. And so next on our list is bulletin boards. Tonight's bulletin boards were prepared by the Tehachapi Independent Learning Academy. So Ms. Porter.
Good evening, President Kaminsky, board members, and Superintendent Lynch. Thank you for giving us time to present. And so our first slide here is why choose TILA. And basically, what is TILA? TILA is a specifically designed to assist parents who choose to educate their children at home. It's an alternative instructional program and is available for students in TK through 12th grade. It meets the California Education Code requirements. A credentialed teacher is there to support the students and their family and provide instruction, some through Zoom and some through in-person, depending on the program that the family chooses. Okay, here are our TILA program options. Elementary blended. The TILA elementary blended students attend a regular day, school day on Mondays and Wednesdays with an optional Friday enrichment program. Middle school students attend on Tuesdays and Thursdays with an optional afternoon Friday enrichment, and we've actually added a Friday morning tutoring program for our middle school students. Our classic program are students who have virtual lessons, meaning all their instruction is provided online and their work at home with their parents in TK through 5th grade. They receive packets of work each week, and they use the same curriculum and pacing guides as our regular classroom students receive. Our 6th through 12th grade students are provided online curriculum through an Edmentum program. And we do also have Ed Options program. The reason we have 2 virtual programs is so that our high school students have more choice, because the teachers that teach through the Edmentum program are our current TUSD teachers, and we often don't have enough to offer the variety of classes we'd like to provide for the students, and so we use Ed Options. The teachers are actually hired through Edmentum, but they're California credentialed, so things like AP statistics that we might not have a teacher for, we can still offer through the Ed Options program. And this isn't on the slide, but kudos to the high school, because we've worked with the high school pretty intensely to provide a better transition program for the high school students attending TILA or going from TILA back to THS, and the counselors and the high school administrators met with me several times, and we came up with a good plan that we're trying to get in a procedural book and get approved, so everyone is kind of on the same page. But if you notice the numbers, there are a lot fewer high school students attending TILA, and that's because we're trying to do a better job making sure the correct students are attending, so they're not failing classes and having to go back and catch up. So TILA area of focus, we have 3 areas that we're focusing on this year: explicit direct instruction, capturing kids' hearts, and parent engagement. So within explicit direct instruction, the components are listed there. And how we do this is teachers partner up, and at our monthly staff meetings provide information to their colleagues on the different topics that they're assigned. So like our TK through first grade teachers presented on learning objectives. Then our, let's see, how does this work? Second, third, fourth, and fifth presented on activating prior knowledge, and our middle school presented on concept development. After the presentation, we take time to discuss these. Our next meeting in February will be skill development and guided practice back to the TK through first grade teachers. For capturing kids' hearts, we're doing actually very well, and so we have 2 areas that we're really honing in on this year. One is the teachers all have their social contracts posted. We have our staff contracts posted, but they're working on using the contracts in their classroom to actually refer students to correct undesirable behaviors. And I try to support the teachers with behavior challenges by using the same CKH strategies when they are referred to me. So we try to work together to implement the social contract and really use them and make them a tool for changing behaviors. And then the other piece that we're really focusing on is ending class with a launch. I end all our staff meetings and social worker meetings with a launch, but the teachers are working in their classroom ending with a launch. And so at each staff meeting, I provide information to the teachers about ideas for launches, and they share what they've been doing in their classroom. So that seems to be going pretty well. Parent engagement, we have a very small but mighty PTO that's helping us out with this. There's like really small 3 or 4 ladies that are really dedicated to helping us with parent engagement. And for the first time, we had a Halloween dance party with our families. We had a great turnout, lots of fun games and dance contests and costume contests and guessing jars, all kinds of stuff. Parents just donating a ton of Halloween decorations, so it was great. We had a winter music performance that was followed by gingerbread house making. Again, a great turnout, fantastic fun for all the families. Coming up, we have a math night and then a spring concert. So thank you to our small but mighty PTO. Okay, hands-on learning. So when the students in the blended program are at school, we really try to focus on the hands-on learning. You can see a couple of our students there doing science experiments. Since they're working at home, often one of the components that they miss is the hands-on activities that the teachers can provide. So our teachers work hard to set up and implement hands-on projects for our students. It helps with exploring and delving into concepts with increased engagement and comprehension, and increased comprehension and understanding. And what we do at our middle school, they tend to have the most problems with math, and so while they're at TILA on Tuesdays and Thursdays and even Fridays, they pretty much complete all their math at TILA with the teacher, and she will definitely make sure you learn your math. If not, she will drive to your house and teach you your math. So Okay. Enrichment Friday, because of the arts and music funding, we were able to work with, it's a local education foundation called The Well, and we were able to get 2 music teachers, Sarah and Lily, and they are awesome. So our TK through first grade students work on rhythm instruments such as bucket drums, xylophones, glockenspiels, those egg shaker things, and they do dancing and singing. Our second through 5th grade students learned ukulele the first semester, and they're learning keyboarding the second semester, so keyboarding is just starting. Our middle schoolers voted for guitar only, so they're doing guitar. But what was amazing with when they did the winter performance is the students have lessons on Friday during their enrichment, and they are learning how to sing and play at the same time, which is not an easy task. So we had like Merry Christmas, but they're learning to use rhythm and sing, which was great. It was fun. And we have, thank you, Hojat. They have a bid for our music room, renovation of our music room, and I think a few other rooms too. So we are super excited because we bought $30,000 worth of music instruments. They're all around Tila, and they are going to be in a music room. All right. The other thing I do is student services. One of our bigger programs is the before and after school programs, and at the elementary sites, we're able to provide care for students from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., which is wonderful for our working parents. Families that are economically challenged can have daycare, before and after daycare, for free. They work really hard on providing tutoring and an academic component, as well as science, hands-on activities. We have a drama teacher. I forget what all, our teachers switch around, but each week the students are exposed to a different type of program, martial arts, music, whatever. It's a lot, and they do a lot of field trips, so I'm really happy with that program. The middle school has Boys and Girls Club, and the Boys and Girls Club goes over to the middle school and walks the kids over to Tila, and they can stay till 6 o'clock. And they also have an amazing program. The students are just doing stuff all the time. Then we have the 30-day summer program that's 9 hours a day, and we've had a lot of interest in that. It's like $50 a week for students, or if they're economically challenged, it's free. Extremely well attended. They go on about 2 field trips a week. They plan our elementary plans with the middle school Boys and Girls Club, and they do programs together, including buddies, and they go on field trips, and they're not necessarily in the same rooms together at the same time, but their activities are very similar. So, and then I'm almost done. A few other things that's under student services, like adult education, attendance, discipline, foster and homeless youth, hospital instruction, independent studies, social work services, student transfers. I didn't put it on there, but we do have the canine companions and the school safety as well. And I think that's the end. Any questions? You always have a question. No? You see.
During your presentation, you answered the question I had in mind.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, I'm not going to tell
Oh,
you.
okay.
Thank you, Dr. Porter.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Upcoming dates and events. On Thursday of this week, we have the Facilities Advisory Committee here in the district office, 6 p.m. Next Thursday, Citizens Task Force, also here in the district office at 6. Next Friday, we have the Snow Makeup Day that we're utilizing for the PSPS Day, so all schools will be in session. Monday, the 27th, is a professional development day, no students. Tuesday, the 28th, the Great Kindness Challenge Week starts through January 31st. Monday, the 3rd of February, is our second makeup day for PSPS. So all schools will be in session on that day. On Tuesday, the 4th, we have Sippin' with the Soup at Conan's Bakery from 7:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. On February 4th, a special board meeting at 5 p.m. at the district office. February 11th, we have a regular board meeting at 5 p.m. at the district office. And on Saturday, the 8th, the Sadie Hawkins dance at the high school from 7 to 10 p.m. in their cafeteria. And that was it for the superintendent's update. So thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent Lynch. Next on the agenda, TAT update. Ms. Bowman.
Good evening, President Kaminsky, members of the school board, interim superintendent Lynch, and members of the public. My name is Val Bowman, and I am the president of the Tehachapi Association of Teachers. As of tomorrow, TUSD is about halfway through the 24-25 school year. And what a year it's been, but every year has its ups and its downs. This year's no exception. As we begin second semester, plates are beginning to spin. The school board and their team are in the process of finding a new superintendent, and as always, TAT would like to remind you that we would like to be part of that process. The second half of the year is always so busy. State testing starts in February for the ELD students, and then it just snowballs from there. State testing goes through May, district-wide. The SPED teachers, the speech paths, the nurses, and I don't know, a bunch of folks I don't even know. They participate in so many IEPs. I feel like IEPs are already being planned out to May, and it's only January, right? It's only January, right? Yeah. They don't actually stop until June. THS has activities planned, their senior events, their AP testing. Elementary schools will show off the talents of the wee ones and talent shows and music programs. JMS is already planning 8th grade promotion activities, and the list goes on and on and on. And all of this is going to happen in 91 school days. It's going to be all packed to the brim with fun stuff, maybe not so fun stuff, but time is really precious in second semester. So within these 91 days, a permanent superintendent will be decided upon. And TAT realizes that the previous superintendent was the lowest paid within our general area. Despite the continued raises, which were percentage comparable with all certificated staff. We were looking around, and it seems the bottom pay for a superintendent is surprisingly about $180,000 a year. But since the board approved $200,000 this year as a base pay, well, that's approximately 21% more than has ever been offered before in TUSD. After all the employees in this district this year were only offered 0.5 on schedule and 2% off. And the bargaining units, we knew that negotiations were going to be hard this year, and we wanted to do the right thing by those protected by the contract. But it turns out the amount negotiated was a pittance compared to the increase being offered to an incoming permanent superintendent. The discrepancy is insulting, especially since the certificated pay scale maxes out at $100K. A superintendent would make more than double a teacher at the lowest pay. Please remember this: significant pay increases to the superintendent position without thinking of the employees already in the trenches would not only lower morale, but it may cause good employees to seek employment elsewhere. Even though 90 days stretched out over 6 months seems like forever, it will quickly be upon us, and there's much to do. 2025 will be a year of change and hopefully more growth. TAT would like to see TUSD continue to move forward with programs, trainings, hiring practices, and so on. Please keep in mind the employees are human, and stretching them beyond their mental and physical limits will not create harder working employees, but rather burned out folks who will look for employment somewhere else. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Bowen. CSEA update. Is there anyone here from CSEA? Board communications. As Superintendent Lynch mentioned, I took him around his first day on a whistle-stop tour, and thank you all the principals and site managers and department managers for your time. And as Superintendent Lynch noted, if you wanted to go check something out, I wanted to make sure you knew how to get there. So anyway, it was a good time. Didn't take too long. Any other board member? All right, public comments. Public comments will be allowed. The board president will recognize any member of the audience wishing to speak on items not on the agenda, but directly related to school business. Pursuant to Board Bylaw 9323, the board may limit comments to no more than 3 minutes per person. Public comment will also be allowed on each specific item prior to board action. The president may allot time to those wishing to speak, but no action will be taken on matters presented, and no discussion of non-agenda items will occur. If appropriate, the president or any member of the board may direct that the matter be referred to the superintendent's office for placement on a future agenda. And I have first up, Christy Libatique.
Good evening. This is a thank you from the THS Astronomy Club. Mr. Lane couldn't be here tonight, so I'm reading for him. The THS Astronomy Club would like to thank the Air and Space STEM Outreach and Air Force Research Laboratory Rocket Lab for funding our astronomy space camp. We have been looking for funding for the last 3 years, and they have made our hopes a reality. These funds will enable the THS Astronomy Club students to have a day-long trip to the California Science Center and Griffith Observatory while interacting with the aeronautical and electrical engineers from the United States Air Force. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Libatique. Brian Reel.
Thank you. Good evening, board. First, let me reiterate what I said last week. I understand what you're doing is difficult, and I appreciate you. Last week, I expressed some concerns on the closed session, and I appreciate President Kaminsky's transparency after the closed session by stating what conversation occurred. That said, Schools Legal gave the board bad counsel when it said employee compensation could be discussed in that closed session. Compensation as a topic specifically prohibited from closed session with the exception of labor contract negotiation. So there's good uses of closed session, but it's never required by law. In fact, open session is required by law unless the topic meets the specific requirements for an exemption. Open session is important not just for transparency of the district's business, but also to provide insight to the process, not just the outcome. If everything of consequence is conducted in closed session, the public does not gain insight into how our interests are being represented and whether each of you should be supported in your next election. Also, this is not the first time I've thought that Schools Legal Counsel on the Brown Act to be inadequate. 2 years ago at a board workshop for the trustees' education on the Brown Act and development of board guidelines, the Schools Legal General Counsel laid the groundwork for a serial meeting through an intermediary. Trustees were to each email their comments to the superintendent on a specific document so that it could be finalized before the next meeting. Once the comments from each trustee were addressed in the document, the superintendent would know that she had a consensus on the approval of the document prior to any further discussion occurring at a public meeting. I really have no idea if the ineffectiveness of their counsel extends beyond the issue of open meetings, but it's really something the board should consider. I'll be providing the board a link to the guide that I find most useful on open meeting requirements. It's easy to digest and cites all of its truth sources. Again, sunshine is best. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reel. Any other public comments? Next item is the consent agenda. In order to promote efficient meetings, the board may bundle a number of items and act upon them together by a single vote through the use of a consent agenda. Consent items shall be items of routine nature and items for which board discussion is not anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. When any board member requests the removal of an item from the consent agenda, the item shall be removed and given individual consideration for action as a regular agenda item. Are there any items that any board member wishes to remove and discuss and vote on separately? Seeing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
Move.
I'll make the motion.
It was moved by trustee Christensen, seconded by trustee Napier to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Business. Mr. Intezari. Item 1, approval of the agreement between K-12 Data Sharing and Services Partnership and Tehachapi Unified School District. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. This K-12 Data Sharing and Services Partnership Agreement is with the California College Guidance as part of the California College Guidance Initiative. To clarify, the actual agency that we are engaging with is the Foundation for California Community Colleges. The district is seeking to engage in an agreement as part of the initiative to provide as a partnership between the initiative and school districts to support students in planning for college and careers. This information, we are required to provide information in order for the courses that are offered in order to align with California college requirements. This comes at no cost to the district, and we seek your approval to participate and execute the agreement.
Any questions or comments from the board? Do I have a motion to approve the agreement between K-12 Data Sharing and Services Partnership and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented?
I'll make the motion.
It was motioned by trustee Napier, seconded by trustee Cooper. The board approved the agreement between K-12 Data Sharing and Services Partnership and Tehachapi Unified School District. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Number 2, approval of the agreement between E. Cheryl Fletcher, M.A., CCC, BCBA, and Tehachapi Unified School District. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. Ms. Cheryl Fletcher is a licensed speech pathologist and board-certified behavior analyst, and we are engaging her to conduct a speech and language assessment as an independent educational evaluation in accordance with the Individual with Disabilities Education Act for a particular student. The cost of the agreement is not to exceed $2,750 and will be funded by the budget allocated to special education for professional services. We seek your approval for the agreement.
Any questions or comments from the board? Is there a motion to approve the agreement between E. Cheryl Fletcher, M.A., CCC, BCBA, and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented?
I'll move. I shall move.
Second.
It was motioned by trustee Christensen, seconded by trustee Napier. The board approved the agreement between E. Cheryl Fletcher, M.A., CCC, BCBA, and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Mr. Intezari. Instructional Services, Ms. Paxton.
Good evening.
Number 1, information item, Williams Complaint Quarterly Report. Ms. Paxton.
California Code of Regulations, Title V, Sections 4600-4687 requires a Williams complaint report to be provided to the board every quarter. And I'm happy to report no Williams complaints were filed for the period from October 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2024.
Thank you. Number 2, approval of 2023-2024 School Accountability Report Cards, SARCs.
Okay.
Ms. Paxton.
By February 1st of each year, every school in California is required by state law to publish a school accountability report card, also known as the SARC. The purpose of this report card is to provide parents in the community with important information about each school. The SARC reports are being presented for the board's consideration and must be presented to the CDE and posted to our district website by February 1st. And I'm happy to report this is the first time in a number of years that the SARCs are actually complete because the CDE released the information on time.
Yes, thank you. It's, again, this is a second read basically for the board, but the first read was blank, and by law, we have to approve it at this board meeting.
Yes.
So hopefully the state can do better next year, or I guess this year in December.
We can help.
Any questions or comments from the board? I have a comment to make, and I've already shared this with the 2 principals. I'm going to ask Superintendent Lynch to ask each of the schools, JMS and THS, to present a plan on getting better student participation in the state testing. I took a look at the SARCs for each school, and we were told this was, this isn't news, this is old. But when I saw the THS, my jaw dropped. And I talked to Ms. Libatique this afternoon, and she assured me that there's already plans started, and that
Yes, there is.
and so sometime before testing, if that could be brought to the board by either you or the superintendent, that'd be great. That's all I have. Is there a motion to approve the 2023-2024 school accountability report cards as presented?
So motion.
Have a second?
Second.
That was a motion by trustee Cooper, seconded by trustee Christensen to approve the 2023-2024 school accountability report cards as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. And I want to add one more comment to the elementary schools. I looked at yours too. Outstanding. 99 to 100% in every subgroup. That's outstanding. So thank you. Number 3, approval of comprehensive school safety plans for the 2024-2025 school year. Ms. Paxton.
Pursuant to Board Policy 0450, the School Site Council shall develop a comprehensive school safety plan relevant to the needs and resources of each particular school. All TUSD Safe School plans contain the required elements as established by the California Department of Education. At the December regular board meeting, all TUSD school safety plans were presented as a first read. The finalized school safety plans are presented now for the board's approval. Approved safety plans are available for parents' review at the school site by request.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board? Is there a motion for the board to approve the comprehensive school safety plans for the 2024-2025 school year as presented?
So move. Second.
It was motioned by trustee Christensen, seconded by trustee Cooper. The board approved the comprehensive school safety plans for the 2024-2025 school year as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Number 4, approval of revision to English Learner Master Plan. Ms. Paxton.
The English Learner Master Plan is revised annually to reflect changes to the LPAC testing platform and through collaborative conversations with staff and parents to identify barriers to EL students. The current EL Master Plan reflects changes in reclassification criteria. Sorry, going to the next page. Across, let's see. I'm sorry, I apologize. Which impacts, these changes are reflective Education Code Section 313F and Education Code 60810, which requires all students to participate in the summative LPAC. Previously, our special education students could be reclassified through the IEP process, but that is no longer available to them. So we seek your approval for that.
Any questions or comments from the board? Is there a motion to have the board approve revision to English Learner Master Plan as presented?
So motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by trustee Cooper, seconded by trustee Napier. The board approve revision to English Learner Master Plan as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Number 5, approval of fashion design textbook for 30-day public review. Ms. Paxton.
The teaching staff of Tehachapi High School has reviewed and recommended the following textbook for adoption, Fashion Fundamentals. Pursuant to Board Policy 6161.0 or .1, all recommended instructional materials shall be available for public inspection at the district office. We seek your approval for this.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve the fashion design textbooks for 30-day public review as presented?
I move. Second.
It was motioned by trustee Napier and seconded by trustee
No.
Coop. Oh, was it? Okay, I saw you put your. It was moved by trustee Christensen and seconded by trustee Cooper. The board approved fashion design textbooks for 30-day public reviews as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Number 6, approval of Citizens Task Force nominees and appointees for 2025. Ms. Paxton?
The district seeks approval of Citizens Task Force members to serve on behalf of board members, schools, and community organizations as indicated. The Citizens Task Force is designed to serve in an advisory capacity. They may make recommendations and provide input on TUSD programs and services. The membership of citizen advisory committees is intended to reflect the diversity of our community and represent a diverse viewpoints.
Any questions or comments from the board? I have, how many are, I see we have myself and Vice President Kelly. I just want to remind all 5 of the other trustees can nominate someone if they desire, correct?
Yes, they can. And
There's
I
no
think-
limit to how many are on the,
Well, every board member can nominate 1, is what it says in our bylaws.
But I mean
Every
the total-
school nominates 2.
but the total numbers, whatever that adds up to.
That's the total.
Okay. And I thank you for running the Citizens Task Force, and please, the 10 folks that are on that list, after they get our approval, thank them as well for their service
Of course.
on my behalf and the board's.
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve the Citizens Task Force nominees as presented?
A motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by trustee Cooper, seconded by trustee Napier, for the board to approve the Citizens Task Force nominees as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Approval of Board Policy 6158, Independent Study. Ms. Paxton.
Board Policy 6158, which is Independent Study Policy, is being updated to reflect new law, SB 153, and new law, AB 176, which requires a district that submits an affidavit for a school closure necessitated by an emergency condition within 10 instructional days, and also to certify that an instructional continuity plan is included in the district's comprehensive safety plan, and that the district offers student engagement and instruction consistent with the instructional continuity plan, or certify that it did not do so due to extenuating circumstances. Additionally, new law SB 153 provides that when computing average daily attendance for apportionment purposes, students participating in independent study may only be credited with 1 day of attendance for each calendar day. Second, makes specified independent study requirements applicable only when students are participating in an independent study program for 16 days or more in a school year. The third new portion of new language provides that evidence of student participation, in addition to other forms of evidence, may include documentation that the student participated in an instructional period either visually or verbally. This is a change because they can submit a log instead of actually producing the work and handing it in. The fourth new provision provides that a written agreement was required for independent study of any length of duration. So previously it was 3 days or longer, and now it can be 1 day. So the fifth provision is requires districts to obtain a signed written agreement for an independent study program. And the sixth provision makes similar changes to course-based independent study. In addition, new law, AB 176, clarifies that the district is required to maintain documentation of hours or fraction of an hour for both student work products and the time that the student engaged in asynchronous instruction. Policy also updated to reflect new law SB 348, which requires districts to make available at no cost a nutritionally adequate breakfast and lunch to any district student who requests a meal, including an independent study student who is scheduled for educational activities as defined in law lasting for 2 or more hours at a school site, resource center, meeting space, or other satellite facility. And we actually already do that. So we seek your approval in updating this policy.
Any questions or comments from the board? Is there a motion to have the board approve the attached board policies as presented?
So move.
I'll second.
This motion by trustee Christensen, seconded by trustee Napier. The board approve the attached board policies as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, Mrs. Paxton.
Thank you.
Future items. Does any board member have a future item either to be put on the agenda at a later board meeting or for staff? I just want to add one. I've already informed Superintendent Lynch of that I forgot at the last meeting, and that was cell phone policy. Anyone else? Item 12, launch. Ms. Libatique.
So in the spirit of Kindness Week coming up, January 27th through the 31st, and then also in the spirit of New Year's resolutions, if you're like me. So I found this statistic that I thought was fascinating because that's the level of nerd that I am. So according to Integrative Psychological and Behavioral Science, 1998, so real recent, kindness produces endorphins, which are the brain's natural painkiller. Perpetually kind people have 23% less cortisol, which is the stress hormone, than the average population. And so my quote is, unexpected kindness is the most powerful, least costly, and most underrated agent of human change, by Bob Carey.
Thank you, Ms. Libatique. And with that, we are about to go into closed session. Are there any public comments for closed session? Remember, these comments must be related to the items in closed session. Seeing none, we will go into closed session. I adjourn the open meeting at 6:15.
have it over there.
He's looking around.
You were talking about it earlier. You don't want to get
It is 6:58, and we are returning from closed session. We are reporting out on both items. Conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, one case, DOAH case number 20240806555. The board approved a settlement agreement, and it's a roll call vote. It was a motion by trustee Christensen and seconded by trustee Cooper. Now the roll call vote.
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly absent. Clerk Wood absent. Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Christensen.
Aye.
Trustee Napier.
Aye.
Trustee Sweeney absent.
Motion carried 4-0. Second item, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation pursuant to Government Code Section 54956.9D1, one case. The board did agree to approve the settlement agreement, and it was moved by trustee Christensen and seconded by trustee Cooper, and requires a roll call vote. Ms. Barnes?
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly absent. Clerk Wood absent. Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Christensen.
Aye.
Trustee Napier.
Aye.
Trustee Sweeney absent.
Motion carries 4-0. And with that, we are on item 27, adjournment, and we are adjourned at 6:59.